Today, I'm going to give you some information about how the family food budget was allocated in different years. I will start by telling you about the percentage of the average family food budget which was spent on restaurant meals decade by decade from 1970 to 2000. Then, I will focus on the number of meals eaten in fast food restaurants and sit-down restaurants during these years. The pie charts show how much money people spent on restaurant meals each decade from 1970 to 2000. The years are noted under the pie charts. The blue area represents the percentage of food budget spent on restaurant meals, while the red area represents the percentage spent on cooked meals. As you can see from the chart, just 10% of the food budget was spent on restaurant meals in 1970. In 1980, the percentage increased 50% compared with the last decade. As another decade passed, it rose sharply by 20% to 35% of the food budget. Furthermore, the percentage of meals eaten in restaurants kept increasing dramatically and eventually reached 50% in 2000. Now, let's turn our attention to the comparison of the number of meals eaten in fast food restaurants and sit-down restaurants during that period in more detail. The line graph tells us how many times people eat in fast food or sit-down restaurants per year from 1970 to 2000. The blue line shows the number of fast food meals, while the red one represents the number of sit-down restaurant meals. In general, the total number of meals eaten in both two types of restaurants increased. First of all, in 1970, the consumption of each meal type was the same, just under 20 meals per year. Then, the consumption of fast food restaurant meals increased steadily to more than 25, while the other type rose to around 35 between 1970 to 1980. In the next 10 years, the consumption of fast food meals soared rapidly from 25 to over 55, exceeding the number of sit-down restaurant meals, which was nearly 45. Finally, the consumption of fast food meals rocketed during the decade of 1990 to 2000 to almost 85, while the other one simply rose moderately to just over 45. Overall, the percentage of meals eaten in restaurants is increasing, no matter fast food restaurants or sit-down restaurants. In my point of view, the proportion of the food budget spent on restaurant meals will not decrease but maintain on this high level or even get higher in the future. The pace of life is getting faster and faster, which makes it leisure for people to choose restaurant meals rather than cook by themselves. This situation does reflect a serious social reality. People hardly have time to live a regular and healthy life.